Hello and greetings to you, wherever you may be, on this beautiful summer's day, the 12th of July 2023. I have just seen a video featuring Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, MIT PhD, and a whole list of other degrees. I cannot even fathom the level of accomplishment this man has achieved. He was born in India, went to America at the age of 14 and went to one university after the other, and has developed such an acute level of conscious awareness and knowledge. And he, in his video, he was describing his invention, this process that he discovered, created, thought of, conceived, which was transportation, conversion, and storage being the basis of the science of systems. I do not have a PhD. In fact, I did not even finish high school. I'm totally self-educated. And my line of inquiry took me along the path of metaphysics, spiritual, not religious, spiritual, which over the last 65 years provided me with so many opportunities to learn about consciousness, conscious awareness, how to develop my human potential, how to develop my innate consciousness. And I have been progressing along those lines for most of my 77 years of living. Now, a person like Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, having accomplished such incredible intellectual achievement and prowess, is very important for us because this third dimensional reality depends a lot upon the understanding of science, because we are a physical form, everything is physical, and science helps us to understand how physical form operates. As a matter of interest, just as an aside, I heard him say that he invented the system of email. I have not followed through with this, but when he talks about the system, I suppose it's different to the exchange of textual messages, but there's a whole system, because his expertise seems to be in the science of systems. Now, I would very much like to meet with him and have a wonderful discussion, because with his developed intellect and with my hopefully developed sense of metaphysics, consciousness, having developed more of my innate potential as a human being, as a spiritual human being, as a galactic spiritual being having a human experience, I feel that we would be actually talking upon a similar level. And so this, having explained this, which has taken 4 minutes, is the basis for this video. Now, Dr. Shiva says that the system of the science of systems comprises transportation, conversion, and storage. Now, transportation is movement. The conversion is changing one element to another, and the storage is how we are able to embody that whole process that occurred before. He even used an analogy, quoting Ayurveda, which is based upon the three constitutions or doshas called Vata, Pitta and Kapha. Vata is responsible for the movement in the body of everything. It's air, it's the movement of air, it's the movement of blood, it's the movement of the digestive juices. And Pitta is the ability to convert matter that we eat into matter that the body can utilize for energy. And Pitta depends upon Vata, because if there was no movement of blood and of the digestive juices and the movement through the colon and the small intestines, the Pitta could not do its work. And Kapha is the ability to embody all that Vata and Pitta have been able to achieve, so that the body can consolidate everything into one system. So Vata, Pitta, Kapha, to me now, I see it as a system, a science of a system. Now, from my point of view, and what am I dealing with? I'm dealing with consciousness. I'm dealing with conscious awareness. I'm dealing with truth. I'm dealing with the process of ideas. I'm dealing with sovereignty. I'm dealing with the development of human potential, which the potential of which is innate within us and is approximately 95-96% more than what we average human beings are utilizing at the moment. To confirm what I'm saying and to back it up, science, the field of science, tells us that there is about 96% of our DNA for which they do not know what the function is, and so they've labeled it as junk DNA, useless. In other words, we are operating on 4% of our total DNA. And my point of view is that the 96% of the DNA is not known or functioning because it's lying dormant. It has not yet been switched on. And there is required some process to actually help it switch itself on. And that is something I may talk about later if I have enough time. I do my best to keep these videos 15-16 minutes. Dr. Shiva talks about freedom, truth, and health as part of a system, which equates to one's health, the vessel, and the storage of that energy. I am seeing this in the form of transportation. I'm seeing it as the ability for each one of us human beings to move out of a small box of perception, the parameters by which we live our lives, which to all intents and purposes is very limited if we're only using 4% of our DNA, if we're only using about 5% of our mental potential, if we're only seeing about 5% of the light spectrum, and if we're only perceiving, hearing a small fraction of the sound spectrum. So we're in a very small box, very limited in our ability to perceive the grander design, the bigger picture of life. So using this science of systems, the first element of transportation is that which will take us from a small box of perception to a larger box of perception, moving from one level of perception to another level of perception. That, in my opinion, is the first level of the science of systems, transportation. The second system is conversion. as I said before, transportation, conversion, storage. So the second part of the science of systems is conversion. So what is it as a galactic spiritual human being? What is it that we are to convert? Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is ignorance. To convert ignorance into knowledge. Now, if we are using such a small fraction of our total potential, we have to be ignorant. And in order for us to convert ignorance into knowledge, we are to find the means to transport ourselves from a limited small box of perception to a larger box of perception. Of course, there's more, but I'm just going to stay with conversion of ignorance to knowledge. Low consciousness to higher consciousness, lower frequency to a higher frequency, limited perception to a greater perception, all the same thing basically. And then the third element of the science of systems is storage. To me, storage is a container, that which contains whatever it is. So what is our container? Our vessel, our being, our body. Now, how do we embody what we've achieved by moving from one box of perception to a greater box of perception, and by converting ignorance into knowledge? What is it that we are to embody as a result of achieving the first two elements? What comes to me is a higher frequency, a higher vibration, more light, more photonic energy. The more light our cells are able to embody, the healthier these cells are, the more vital they are, the more dynamic they are. Our bodies respond very well to sunshine. Doesn't matter what the scientists, the doctors are telling us, that the sun is causing. There are many other man-made elements that are causing far more problems, far more than the sun. And if we are judicious and we are wise, we won't sit in the sun for 24 hours or 8 hours or 10 hours. Maybe an hour a day, and then cover up. In order to know what to do, we are to transport ourselves from a small box of perception to a larger box of perception. We are to convert ignorance into knowledge, and then the result is more photonic energy, more light energy, more consciousness, more awareness, a higher frequency of vibration. And when our bodies are able to sustain and maintain this higher frequency of vibration, the entire game changes. Now we are in a position to develop our further ability to develop the greater means to develop more of our innate potential. So we can go from 4% DNA to 5 or 6% DNA, 10%. We can go from 5% mental potential to 6, 7 or 8 or 9 or 10% mental potential. And as we progress along that path, that process, we are developing our greater, our fantastic, our remarkable, our vast potential that has not yet been actualized. And we are then actualizing it. And then we become human beings of a far greater stature than you can ever imagine. So how do we do this? Well, I've spent 65 years learning how to do this, and I'm still in the process. And there's different things that are available for different people. You see, life is not a one-size-fits-all. One vaccine fits everybody. It doesn't work that way. No drug fits everybody. Food, if you care to study Ayurveda, different foods have different effects on different constitutions. And one food that is healthy for one person may be poisonous for another person, or at least doesn't really improve their health, causes a deterioration in their health. And this is a completely another discussion. And I wish to end now by saying, go to my website, anthonyaltman.net, ANTHONYALTMAN.net, anthonyaltman.net. And there I am able to present more information, and you will be able to find out more about my books and information that may help you. And I also inspire and urge you to read other people's works, other people who have other ideas, and learn, educate yourselves. Please, I urge you all, time is of the essence. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time.